Chapter 17. We shop for waterbeds. The three friends walk away from the casino that has stolen 5 days from their quest. Annabeth. I have an idea for getting us to Los Angeles. We'll use our casino credit cards to pay for a taxi. She stops a taxi. Los Angeles, please. Here, you can swipe this credit card. The driver swipes the Lotus Cash card, and it works. Take us to Santa Monica Beach, please, and if you get us there fast, you can keep the change. On the road through the Mojave Desert, Percy tells Annabeth and Grover about his latest dream. There are some things he can't remember because his memory has been damaged by his time in the Lotus Casino. He tells his friends about the monster voice in the dark pit, and the invisible servant, and the room with the throne where the spirits of the dead put a poison crown on his head. Grover. That throne you saw in your dream, the one made from human bones, that could be Hades' throne. Percy. I couldn't see the servant, but the voice sounded familiar. I've heard that voice before. The servant also called the monster voice some special name. Annabeth. The silent one? The rich one? Both of those are nicknames for Hades. Percy. No, it was something else. Annabeth. Maybe Hades sent this invisible servant to get the master bolt, and maybe the servant lost the bolt, and the Furies were searching for it when they came after us on the bus. Percy. But that doesn't make sense. The voice in the dark hole said it was waiting for 2 items, not just 1. Grover. Maybe it wasn't even talking about the master bolt. Maybe it wants something else. Percy. Yeah, and something's wrong with the Hades idea. I don't think it was Hades in my dream. That voice from the pit just didn't feel like a god's voice. Annabeth's eyes widen. She looks like she just realized something. Percy. What's wrong? What are you thinking? Do you have an idea of who that monster voice might be? You don't really think it's Hades, right? Annabeth. Percy, let's not talk about it. They pass a sign that says, 12 miles to California. Percy, whispering to Grover. I feel like I'm missing one important piece of information about my quest. It seems like Annabeth knows what that might be, but she doesn't want to say what it is. Something dangerous. Percy, louder to Annabeth. What if we get to the underworld and Hades does not have the bolt? We won't have time to try something else. The solstice deadline would pass and war would begin. Annabeth. The answer is in the underworld, Percy. You saw the spirits of the dead in your dream. There's only one place you can find the spirits of the dead, and that place is the underworld. We're doing the right thing. Percy doesn't feel better. At sunset, the taxi drops them at the beach in Santa Monica. It smells polluted. There are carnival rides, palm trees, homeless people sleeping on the ground, and surfers waiting for the perfect wave. Grover, Annabeth, and Percy walk down to the edge of the waves. Annabeth. What now? The Pacific Ocean was turning gold in the setting sun. I thought about how far away the Atlantic Ocean was, on the other side of the country at Montauk Beach. How could Poseidon control all that? My science teacher said 2/3 of the earth was covered in water. How could I be the son of someone that powerful? I stepped into the water, walking up to my waist, then my chest, then up over my head. I could breathe under the water with no problem, just like when I jumped into the Mississippi River. I felt something rub against my leg. I looked down to see a 5-foot-long mako shark, nuzzling me like a dog. I grabbed the fin with both hands, and the shark started pulling me. The shark carried me farther away from the shore, right up to where the ocean got deeper. I stood on the sand under 150 feet of water. I could see the sunlight on the surface, far above me. Then a woman's voice, like my mother's, called from the darkness, beyond the underwater cliff. Percy Jackson. A lady with flowing black hair appeared, wearing a dress made of green silk. She rode a huge seahorse, and light flickered around her. The underwater lady smiled at me, her green eyes sparkling. You've come far, Percy Jackson. Well done. I bowed. You're the woman who spoke to me in the Mississippi River, I said. Yes, child. I am a Nereid, a spirit of the sea. I serve the Lord Poseidon. It has been many years since the sea god has had a child. We have been watching you grow up with great interest, Percy. If my father is so interested in me, I said, why isn't he here? Why doesn't he speak to me? Do not judge the Lord of the Sea too harshly, the Nereid told me. He is trying to keep a war from happening, so he is very busy. Besides, he is not allowed to help you directly. The gods are not allowed to help their children more than other humans. What can the gods do to help their children? I asked. The gods can send others to help their children, or they can send messages or gifts. That is why I am here, to give you a warning and a gift. She held out her hand. In her palm were 3 white pearls. What are these pearls for? I asked. You will need protection in the land of the dead, she said. Only a few mortals like you have ever gone to the underworld and survived. Orpheus, who had great music skill, Hercules, who had great strength, and Houdini, who could escape even Tartarus, the prison of the Titans. Do you have these talents? No, ma'am, I said. Ah, but you have something else, Percy. You have skills you have only begun to know. The oracles have prophesied a great and powerful future for you, if you survive to grow into a man. Poseidon does not want you to die before then. So take these pearls, and when you are in great danger, smash a pearl at your feet. What will happen when I throw down a pearl? I asked. That depends on what you need, she replied. But remember, what belongs to the sea will always return to the sea. What about the warning? The warning is this: go with what your heart tells you, or you will lose everything. Hades will try to make you doubt yourself and feel hopeless. He will trick you if he can, and make you mistrust your own judgment. Once you are in his underworld, he will never willingly let you leave. Keep hope in your heart, Percy Jackson. She rode away on her seahorse. Wait, I called. At the river! You said not to trust the gifts. What gifts? Goodbye, young hero, she called back, her voice fading. You must listen to your heart. I wanted to follow her down into the darkness. I wanted to see the kingdom of Poseidon. But my friends were waiting. We had so little time to finish the quest. I swam for the shore. When I reached the beach, my clothes dried instantly. I told Grover and Annabeth what had happened, and showed them the pearls. Annabeth grimaced. No gift comes without a price. The pearls were free. No, she shook her head. We will have to pay somehow, you'll see. We took the bus into West Hollywood looking for the address for the Underworld, DOA Recording Studios. You remind me of somebody I saw on TV, the bus driver told me. We got off quickly before he could realize who we were. We walked for miles looking for DOA, with no luck. Suddenly I saw a TV through a store window. On the TV, a woman was interviewing my stepdad, Smelly Gabe. They were sitting in our apartment, in the middle of a poker game, and there was a young blonde lady sitting next to him, patting his hand. A fake tear glistened on his cheek. He was saying, My stepson took everything I cared about. My wife, my Camaro. The interviewer turned to the camera. Let's show our watchers again the last known photo of this troubled young teenager, taken a week ago in Denver. The screen cut to a poor quality photo of me, Annabeth, and Grover standing outside the Colorado diner talking to Aries. Come on, Grover told me. It was getting dark now. The streets of Los Angeles were not organized like they were in New York City, and everything was farther apart here. I didn't know how we were ever going to find the entrance to the underworld by tomorrow, the summer solstice. As we hurried past the entrance of an alley, a voice from the darkness said, Hey, you! Like an idiot, I stopped. Before I knew it, a gang of kids had circled us. I uncapped Riptide. When the sword appeared out of nowhere, the kids backed off, except their leader, who came at me with a knife. I made the mistake of swinging at the leader. My sword passed right through his chest without causing any damage. He looked down. What the? Run! I screamed at Annabeth and Grover. We turned a sharp corner. There! Annabeth shouted, pointing at the only store that was lit up. Krusty's Waterbed Palace, Grover read the sign. We burst through the doors, ran behind a waterbed, and ducked. A split second later, the gang kids ran past outside. I think we lost them, Grover panted. A voice behind us boomed. Lost who? We all jumped. Standing behind us was a guy who was at least 7 feet tall, with no hair. He looked like a lizard. He had gray, leathery skin and a dozen silver chains around his neck. He moved toward us slowly, but I got the feeling he could move fast if he needed to. I'm Krusty, he said with a yellow-toothed smile. You want to look at one of my waterbeds? I was about to say no thanks when he put a huge paw on my shoulder and steered me deeper into the showroom. Look at this. Krusty spread his hands proudly over a bed that vibrated like jello. It's a 1,000,000-hand massage bed, Krusty told us. Go on, try it out. I said, I don't think we need to. 1,000,000-hand massage, Grover cried, and jumped onto the bed. Oh, you guys, this is cool. Krusty said. Your friend almost fits. He looked at Annabeth. Come over here, honey. This bed might fit. He patted her on the shoulder and led her over to another bed and pushed her onto it. Hey, she protested. Look, Krusty said to me. All the beds are exactly 6 feet. Your friends are too short. I've got to make them fit. He snapped his fingers. Ergo. Ropes sprang out of each bed. The ropes tightened around Grover's and Annabeth's ankles, then around their armpits. The ropes started tightening, pulling my friends from both ends. I tried to step away from Krusty, but his hand shot out and clamped around the back of my neck. Whoa, kid, don't worry, we'll find you one in a sec. Let my friends go, I said. Don't worry, Krusty told me. These are stretching jobs. The ropes will pull out maybe 3 extra inches on their spines. They might even live. Now, why don't we find a bed you like, huh? Percy! Grover yelled. My mind was racing. I knew I couldn't fight this giant waterbed salesman alone. He would snap my neck before I ever got my sword out. Your real name's not Krusty, is it? I asked. Legally, it's Procrustes, he admitted. The stretcher, I said. I remembered the story. The giant who'd tried to kill Theseus with too much hospitality on his way to Athens. Then I had an idea. What if I was also too friendly? Krusty is such a great name, I said. And what a genius idea for making your customers fit. What do you do if they're longer than 6 feet? Oh, that happens all the time. I just cut off whatever extra parts are hanging off on each end of the bed with this axe. I said, swallowing hard. What a smart method. The ropes were really stretching my friends now. Annabeth was turning pale. Grover made gurgling sounds like a strangled goose. "So, Krusty," I said, pointing to a bed, "can you show me how this bed works? Can it hold a lot of weight?" He sat down on the bed. "Of course it can. Look, it's not even sinking when I sit on it." Now was my chance. I snapped my fingers. Ergo! Ropes wrapped around Krusty and flattened him against the mattress. "Hey!" Krusty yelled. Krusty's whole head stuck out from the top of the bed. His feet stuck out the bottom. I uncapped Riptide. Now if I just chop off the extra bits. If Krusty were human, I couldn't hurt him anyway. If he was a monster, he deserved to turn into dust for a while. I swung the sword. You can guess what happened next. I cut Annabeth and Grover free. They stood up, groaning and cursing me. "You look taller," I said to Annabeth. "Very funny," she snapped. "Be faster next time." I looked at the bulletin board behind Krusty's sales desk. DOA's address was on a piece of paper with a map. "Here's a map. Come on," I told my friends. "Give us a minute," Grover complained. We were almost stretched to death." "Then you're ready for the underworld," I said. "It's only a block from here."